Good evening, everyone. As you can see, snow, first snow of the year. This is going to be a quick video because I am frustrated. It looks all calm and dandy now, but I just had about 20 minutes of wild cows running around, jumping fences, breaking fences. Golly, man. I mean, you love to see happy, healthy cows. You love to see them with a lot of energy, with the ability to move, run, jump, play. But when they get fired up, dude, they just do whatever they want. I mean, you're not going to stop a 700, 800 pound cow. You're not going to stop a 600 pound heifer, a couple 100 pound calves. When they're in the mood to run through anything in their way, they're just going to do it. So, tried to get them walked. We're obviously in the back meadow. So this is the back. Those of you that don't recognize this is the little back, like half-acre meadow that I leased from a neighbor. The planted annual field that you saw in the last video was over there, is over there. So after the planted annual field, they went back to the home front 2.5 acres just to finish that up because I pulled them off of that early to put them on the planted field. And then we got a few days out of that, and then I just tried to walk them simply through the gate right there, through a gate right here. But I don't know if it's the weather. I mean, it's the time of day too. I normally don't move them in the evening. I know they're hungry. I was throwing them a couple of hay bales, small squares this morning, just to tide them over in the chunk that they were at, up at that front 2.5 acres, because they had eaten everything. So I know that they're hungry. We obviously have weather dropping on us right now. I had my tractor, a lot of tree trimming equipment up at the lease, the 16-acre lease. So I spent most of the day trying to get that finished up and all that brought home, because they're saying we could get about 2 inches of snow tonight, and it's not going to stick around. But obviously the ground's not frozen yet. You throw 2 inches of snow on it, and then above freezing temperatures here in the next couple days, it's just going to be a muddy mess. So on top of family in town, seeing family for the holidays, which happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I ended up moving the cows way later than I wanted to. I know they were hungry. They were yelling and screaming at me the whole time I moved them up. They were low on water. Heck, they didn't even have any water. Just because I was trying to get everything done. I had to get this temporary perimeter fence set up. But so yeah, weather, hunger, excitement, someplace new. They were a pain in the butt. Hi, Mama. Honestly, the only good one was Mac, which once again, having a lifetime steer out here just continues to pay dividends, with all sorts of stuff. But just having him calmly walk over to me, and he led about half the group back here. The other half just started grazing that back 2.5 acres that hasn't been touched yet. And then once they saw some of the group here, those cows didn't know how to get through the gate, so they started breaking down old rotten wooden posts, jumping barbed wire. The small red heifer calf actually didn't even know there was wire there. It was a nightmare. Went running through there, balls to the wall, did a cartwheel. I'm still watching her to see if she's all right. She kind of landed on her neck. It was a nightmare. So yeah, now I have to fix permanent perimeter fence, which, like I said, posts were rotten, stuff was junky, but and then they jumped it. So then they started chasing each other around. When they all got in here, they were so excited, chasing each other around. They jumped over the temporary fence. They were snapping off posts. They jumped back over the permanent fence and was over in the 2.5 acres. And like I said, it was about 20 minutes of just standing there watching them wreak havoc on the place. Yeah, so this is just a little half-acre meadow. Really, really good grazing, as you can tell. We only grazed this once during the grazing season, and I didn't come back here and mow it like I thought I would. They didn't take a whole lot off of it, and it was obviously during the summertime. So really, really good regrowth, as you can see. It's just really small. I wish I had a huge pasture of this stuff, because it's green, it's thick, it's lush, and this is actually going to be a great little area for them to be on I'm going to get 2 days out of this. I'd be shocked if I get 3. This is what I was getting at, is this is going to be a great little area for them to be on with really wet ground coming up here, because there's so much turf on here. There's so much tall grass. So it's going to help alleviate any mud and pugging and stuff like that. Yeah, and these steers, man, steers just keep fighting. And it's like, I wish, now I know what people talk about when they talk about bulls just causing problems, just bulls being bulls. I mean, these steers are bad enough and they rarely ever do it. I couldn't imagine having 1,000-pound Dexter bulls getting excited and fighting each other. Let's talk real quick about that planted annual field. Let me get over there. They did really, really good on that. I got 6 days out of that field, which, you know, I was really happy with. It looks like I mowed it. I mean, dude, they took this stuff down to the soil, which is fine because it's obviously going to be replanted next year, and the less you know, top growth I have to deal with to try and get some seed in the ground, some seed to soil contact, the better. Obviously, you can still see tracks from the mower when I mowed it off in the summer, but yeah, they did a really good job. They actually weren't even hungry for, I would say, they were on here for 6 days, for sure. 4 days, I didn't hear any bawling, and it was obviously very, it was a very balanced diet for them too. You know, they would get up, they would eat, and then they would be quickly laying down and ruminating. And, you know, when cows graze for a short period of time, that just means that every single bite that they take, they are getting the maximum amount of forage. So they're filling that rumen really, really quickly. You know, when you see cows standing and grazing for long periods of time, it just means that it's taking them longer to get full, whether that's because of the nutrient content of what they're eating, or just the fact that with every tongue grab bite that they're making, they're not getting a full mouthful. So they're not shoving as much down into their rumen as they can with each bite. So they obviously have to graze longer. So yeah, the herd for the first 4 days, man, they would get up, they'd eat very, very quickly, they'd get full, they'd lay down, they'd ruminate, and then they'd get up and eat quickly again. And, you know, the longer a cow ruminates, the more, fibrous material they have to break down. So usually you see, you know, long rumination times with hay, when you're feeding very, very fibrous material, stuff that has a lot of lignin in it, you know, over mature forages, just because that rumen has to work extra hard to process the stuff that they're eating because it's not broken down easily. So you see a lot of rumination, you see a lot of chewing the cud, because they're burping a lot of that stuff back up to chew it even more, to get it into smaller bites, to send it back into their rumen, so then the rumen can continue to break it down even further. Every time a cow burps up cud and it's chewing its cud, it's simply because it's a piece of material, it's too large of a material, it's too much work for the rumen to break down in the size that it is. So it comes back up, the animal sits there, chews on it for a little bit, breaks it down even further, and then sends it back to the microbes to continue working to break that down. So yeah, it's a very long way of me saying short grazing periods and short rumination periods meant that they were getting very good nutrition. And that was confirmed to me by their manure. Their manure was amazing. For 4 days, it was perfect manure. I wish I had taken some photos or some videos of the stuff that I was finding. Look at her. She's already looking at trying to get back over there. It was great manure, man. It was perfect. You know, had the little pond in it. Wasn't too hard, wasn't too soft. It laid out nice and flat, but it wasn't runny. And it wasn't until towards the end of day 4, going into day 5, that I started to notice them grazing longer, which made sense because there was very, very less amount of forage on the field. They had been taking more of it down. They were grazing longer, they were ruminating longer, just as they were kind of getting down into the true stalks of that stuff. Obviously a lot more lignin in those stalks, so it's taking longer to break down. And then day 5, day 6 is when I started noticing the manure stacking up, really tall manure. And then they were bawling. Every time they'd see me, they'd start mooing. They'd follow me around on the fence line, thinking I was going to give them something fresh. But because of my work schedule, working 24-hour shifts, I had to revolve their next move around my ability to, be home and make those moves. So it worked out. I pushed them hard that 6th day. You know, they definitely probably should have been off of there sooner. They should have been off of there by day 5, but I was actually quite impressed when I got home from work the following morning, the morning of the 6th day. They weren't yelling at me. They were still kind of going around, starting to graze some of the less desirable stuff, but they were content. Oh, and obviously they all did well. I didn't have to worry about the prussic acid, the nitrate poisoning, anything like that. So clearly everything had dissipated from the sorghum Sudans. So that's it, guys. I know it was quick. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, you know the drill. Go ahead and leave them down below. I have to fix fence posts that they busted off. I need to fill another water trough, and then see if I can do something about that temporary or that permanent fence. God, freaking cows, man. You gotta love them. And it was at first it's cute watching them run around and play grab tail. You know, it's just, but the minute one of them figured out they could jump or go through this fence, it was all over. All right, guys. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch up with you later.